And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Punk Thompson. 100% agree. And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big John McCarthy.
Well, hello to everyone. It is Sunday, June 13th, show 155 of the Weighing In podcast. We are coming to you live after a entire week of fantastic fights. Well, some were fantastic, some really sucked. But we have a lot to talk about when it comes to the PFL, Bellator, and the UFC. What occurred? There's some good stuff. There's some bad stuff. That's why we're here, is to talk about all the stuff. So what's up, my man, Joshua Thompson?
What is going on?
You are still the only man to knock out Nate Diaz.
Oh,
Even
man.
Joe Rogan's giving you love on the broadcast.
Joe's a good dude, man. He's he does that. He does that for me a lot, and I appreciate him, man.
Tell me you owe him $20 now.
$20, huh? Maybe even more than that. Look, Joe's done a lot. Joe and Brennan, man, I got to tell you, for most people that don't understand, like, I know our show's had a lot of success, but I mean, like, there's been a lot of business sides of it, stuff that I've had to reach out to them and say, hey, I need a little help here and there. Can you guys direct me in the right direction? And they've been very forthcoming with their information on, things that help us grow. And so, yeah, I mean, and for him to keep plugging me the way he does about the Nate Diaz fight, I mean, among other times, I mean, he talks about me quite a bit on his show regularly, and I thank him for that. And he's a good person, man. Like, realistically, I mean, not a lot of people get to know him personally, and I can't say that I'm one of them, but I'm saying that it makes you feel good that they bring you up and that he brings you up, and that I'm not just myself, but I know he does that for a lot of fighters. And so I think it feels good just knowing that he's giving you plugs, at any turn that he can. And he's a good person.
Did you see the guy that spent $4,000 to have the skywriting done saying Joe Rogan is 5'3"? I can verify, man. That's a lie.
That is a lie.
He is not 5'3". He's at least 5'4".
5'9". He's 5'4". Nah, in my book, everyone's 5'6".
There you go. Okay,
it's 5'6" now.
That just makes him tall, long, and lanky.
He's 5'8", 5'9".
Yeah, he's 5'8".
At least 5'8".
Gotta be 5'8".
Yeah, I think he's probably pushing 5'9" though.
Apparently 5'7" according to Wikipedia.
Really, 5'7"?
Yeah.
I wasn't far off 5'6".
Supposed to be 5'3".
Like, nah, he's got to be able to talk.
I can't believe someone put out. They said $4,000 to have that written up in the sky.
That's fucked up.
All right, man.
That's fucked up. Anyways,
it's $17,000 apparently, John.
What's that?
How much?
Apparently
17,000.
17,000. I was told it was 4,000.
Wow.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
John has a problem with math as well. So I had problems with math on the fucking broadcast.
Dude, I was gonna put up a sign here. 26 and 21. 21 for 26 equals 4, according to Josh Thompson.
I blame our fucking producer in my ear. He's like, hey, yo, we're highlighting the reach, whatever it was, and he was like, I don't know what he said. I think he said it was a 5-inch reach or 4-inch reach.
Dude, if you got a 5-inch reach, we're talking a finger.
5-inch reach advantage. 5-inch reach advantage. Anyways, shit.
It's all fun, man.
Well, let's talk about this, though, man. Let's talk about your 14-hour drive to Connecticut and your 14-hour drive back, because you were not allowed to fly because you've got broken ribs, a collapsed lung, and a punctured spleen.
It's not collapsed anymore.
Some other thing in there probably is bleeding as well.
Dude, I got a lot of problems.
For those of you guys that didn't notice, I was running up and down the stairs all damn show.
I made you work. It was awesome.
You made me work.
Were sweating.
I got to by the third in-cage interview, I had to run back and forth to the desk. I fucking got a little winded. I was like, bro, you got to go home and start doing some cardio. I know I've been doing like HIIT training, but HIIT training is not the same as actually just running, And I just, oh man, I was cold. I obviously didn't get to warm up or anything. I'm in a suit running up and down trying to get there as fast as possible. It's freezing in that damn venue. It's freezing in a bunch of venues, man, but especially the ones when we go to the hockey rink ones.
Oh yeah.
Oh, they're cold. But overall, I thought the weekend was a good weekend of fights.
Was.
I mean, not even start with the PFL, man. Look, in all full disclosure, I only got to watch up to the Nate and Schulte fight, and I didn't see the ones below that. I don't know what was going on. I don't know why, but for some reason it was the time change. I just was like, oh yeah, it's not on for like another 2 hours. Fucking flip through channels. Fuck, there it is.
Oh,
what the fuck?
maybe it is
we're
on.
in Connecticut. Yeah. You know me and time and math and whatever, man. I can't get it together. So,
Well, you know what?
Yeah,
Let's go with the main card on that because it did start off with a great fight. Tyler Diamond against Brendan Lohane. That was an awesome fight. And I love what Brendan said after it because you could see he put so much out in that fight. He was just lighting Tyler up at times. Tyler was never giving in, never stopping, just kept coming. And it got to the point, it's one of those guys that's like, what in the hell do I have to do to stop this guy? Yeah. And in the end, Brendan started doubting himself almost got to that point where it's like, and he said, I was almost thinking about, I'm going to quit because I can't get rid of the guy. And it's, and that can happen. Mentally, this is what can happen in fights. And that's why I always say fighting is such a mental game because sometimes you're fighting against yourself more than even your opponent. And I thought, but Brendan had a beautiful performance. Really, he looked fantastic. I give Tyler Diamond is a tough son of a bitch, man. Yeah. Dude, he's got a rock placed somewhere in his chin area because it's made of granite. He took some big shots and kept coming, man. He's a tough dude. The PFL, they've got a really good young fighter there that, you know what? He's a gamer, man. He comes after it. So I look forward to watching him in the future. I watched him in his first fight, and I thought, hey, he's pretty good. And then knowing how good that Brendan is, that was a hell of a performance.
Yeah, I thought the fight was fun. It was one of those fun-filled fights. They were getting after each other. Brendan obviously had the advantage a lot in terms of the stand-up, was hitting them with clean, hard shots. And that, you are right, John, though, is that when fighters, young fighters, specifically young fighters, they touch you with everything that used to knock everybody out. But then when they get to fighters that have a good chin or they just stay composed in those moments of being rocked, they start doubting themselves. They start doubting whether like, damn, can I get this guy out of here? And am I going to the biggest thing is, am I going to make myself tired punching him in the face to where now he's going to just come on because he's composed and relaxed? And that's one of the biggest things. Like, we're going to get into it later on with Nate. Nate and Nick Diaz, they made their career based off of that. People used to try and finish them and get them out of there, and they just couldn't do it. And then by the end of the round, whatever it was, they were exhausted, and they would start piecing them up and touching them and laughing and goading them on to like, let's go, let's fight, flipping them off. And that's what's made them famous, and that's what's made them so marketable. But Brendan, man, he did a good job. He closed the show, did really, he kind of just made sure that everything was coming together. Touch, and I thought he fought a great fight.
He did. It was just an outstanding performance, but you got to give it to Tyler, even though he didn't come away with the win. God damn, son, you're fun to watch. You're exactly what makes someone come back. Because you believe he's going to give you everything that he has, because that's what he did. So, really good performance. Bubba Jenkins.
Roll.
Man, I'll tell you what, though, and this is what he still has that thing. He starts to slow down, but damn it, his stand-up has gotten so much better because Bubba used to wing a lot of shots, used to throw a lot of looping punches. He's that straight left hand he's got now. He's very tight in what he's doing at the beginning of the fight. Bobby Moffitt's a tough dude, and Bubba was putting good shots on him throughout. He got a little tired near the end of the fight, but he really looks good right now. I'm really impressed. Bubba's got he's got that personality. He's a good guy. He is really a good person. And so it's good to see him doing well. Obviously, he's fitting in well with Dewey Cooper. I thought he looked great in his fight. That's 2 big wins in a row for him, and well-deserved.
Yeah, that's coming off of a big win over Lance Palmer. Yeah. Who I thought for sure was going to try to wrestle more and touch him up more and then wrestle more, and he never had a chance and opportunity to really get Bubba down. And Bubba made him work for every single takedown that he was attempting, and Lance never got it together, never got the ball rolling, and it was just a snowball effect of Bubba taking over the fight. Then you got to Bobby Moffitt, and it was the same type of thing where Bobby Moffitt just really never was able to mount an offense. Bubba was kind of taking control of the cage, dictating where the fight went. But Bobby had some moments in the fight, but it was nothing that really that Bubba needed to worry about. But until towards the end, because there was some shots that Bobby started landing, it was like, okay, then you could tell, like you said, Bubba was getting a little bit more tired.
Yep.
I feel so weird calling someone Bubba. No, the story behind it is this. The story behind it is just because like my younger brother and sister used to call me Bubba. So it was it was a weird thing. My sister couldn't say my name, so she would call me Baba. And so that as they got older turned into Bubba. And so yeah, they're 4 and 5 years younger than me. So, but yeah, it was my sister was the youngest one, and she would always call me Bubba.
I just go to Bubba Gump Shrimp, man.
Bubba Gump Shrimp.
Forrest Gump.
It's just weird to me. It's just weird to me, like to have to call someone that. Just brings back memories. That's all. Anyways, but good performance by Bubba, man. He's on his way. He's in the semifinals now, or he's in the
he's in the playoffs. They call it
the playoff finals. Okay. Yeah, so I thought that caught him right into the semis, right? So there's 4 of them, right? There must be 4 people in the semis then?
I believe so, yes.
Anyways, or the first round, or whatever.
They call it the playoff.
Round.
First round of the playoff.
Let's call it the first round of the playoff.
They also call it the PFL Smart Cage, which I've never seen a cage that's smart, but they use it. They use all kinds of different things. So what's a smart cage, Josh?
Well, you got to remember their marketing scheme behind them is for them to do like they're kind of into the tech industry. I kind of think is where
they're doing well with that.
Yeah, they're doing well with that apparently. So, but I mean, I would imagine it has something to do with that. Maybe the way that they do their filming, maybe the way maybe there's some sort of like way that it shows how many strikes are landed. I don't know.
Didn't they used to call it the decagon? Because it's 10-sided instead of 8-sided. It's the decagon. Now it's the smart cage. Next season, it'll be something else.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's a fucking cage, man. We're
fighting. That's all that matters. Exactly. Dude, it's a fucking cage.
Let's stop with all this nonsense.
It's a fucking cage. I don't care how many sides it has. I don't care if it's round. It's a fucking cage. Yeah.
When the door shuts, we're still fighting. Congratulations to Bubba, though. Great performance. Another win, and good luck in that first round of the playoffs. Clay Collard. I mean, he's everything you talked about him, John, being like, I honestly, like, and I said this before the Pettis fight, I didn't really know who he was. Yeah. I think I had seen him fight once or twice, but it wasn't like something like, ooh, wow, I got to watch you fight again. But his performance against Pettis and now his performance against Luderbach was damn good. Yeah. Like the way he puts his combinations together to the body, he goes 1 to the head and then 2 to the body. And then out of every exchange, he's touching you to the body to make sure you understand. I'm going to keep trying to hit the wind out of you until you don't want to get close to me anymore. Yeah. And he's good, man. He's really good. I was rather surprised. He was very, very good everywhere.
It's not that, like, there are guys in there that can beat him, but they're going to have a really good performance to beat him. He's that good. And if you look at technically in the stand-up, he's very good. He's hard to hit. Mm-hmm. He's tight with his combinations. He doesn't throw a lot of junk, and he gives good feints. He sets you up, and he takes advantage when you bite on him. So he's just a good, solid fighter. I've always enjoyed watching him, and I'm really happy that he's doing well there. So he deserves it. He's had a long career. Fought in the UFC. I reffed him when he was in the UFC too and stuff. But he's the full package. He comes from Idaho now because he was up in Utah, now Idaho, I believe. So
yeah, we're out in Idaho.
I'm not sure, but I know he's living up in Idaho somewhere there.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah,
let's see. Clay Collard, somewhere in Idaho, huh? I was just talking to Trevor Pranglin today. This morning when I landed from Connecticut, he had hit me up and just texting me and stuff. He's got his gym is just his AKA Trevor Pringlin's AKA up there. Yeah. Fucking taking off.
Good for him.
Say he's got over 100 something jiu-jitsu members, just jiu-jitsu members. He had to get into a whole new warehouse type facility. He's trying to talk the guy into letting him buy the building so he can own it. But I mean, it's picking up. What had happened was that area there blew up because everyone's moving out of California. Well, where did they all go? Because they want to live in the East. They all want to still live on the West Coast. They moved up to Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, which is where he's at. So now his gym is just flooded with Californians. just that we're looking like, I'm looking for a place to train, and they just looked up Trevor. They looked up AKA, and AKA is up there because Trevor Pringley's AKA, and
perfect.
It's fucking enormous, man. He's killing it. But he had a big party today for his team. And,
don't make it
nice
too
team,
big.
His gym, it's huge.
How many square feet?
Oh, huge. I want to say it's.
I did mine was 30,000, 32,000.
I think it's 19,000.
Yeah, that's big.
But it's just a big open space, though.
Yeah.
It's like that's all he did. It's one big open space. He built one little wall for the CrossFitters to have their own little section, away from everyone. But that's it. The rest of it is all mat space. It's all just one big open mat space. Good. And they do kickboxing on one side, and they do jiu-jitsu is fucking the biggest part of it all. It's nuts. It's just crazy. Clay Collard, great performance. Look, I want to say this, everybody. I apologize. We didn't cover this last week. And we had said that we would talk everything MMA. And for some reason, this escaped us. I don't know what it was and why. And, Podcast Dave just wasn't doing his job and making sure that
I'm going to go with you. You know what, Josh? You are so right. This is podcast. That was Podcast Dave's fault.
Yeah, he's probably not even on the call right now because he's just. I remember it was for the last 2 years, John. Dave was always like, God, why does John care whether we film like at 10 o'clock or at like 11 o'clock at night? It doesn't matter. It's not a big deal. Now he's in Austin.
He goes, it's so late.
It's fucking so late. Oh God,
it's Sunday.
Josh, do you even remember that you were going to talk about something? Do you even remember what it was now?
Oh
no. Oh yes, I was going to talk about something. Well, you did good, great job at deflecting there, Podcast Dave. Dave's deflecting. Look, I wanted to apologize. We should have talked about PFL last week in the lead up to it. Podcast Dave dropped the ball, and it's his fault.
So we not only dropped the ball with him, we kicked it down the field.
Yes, we did. Okay. Yes, we did. But let's get into the Claressa Shields fight over Brittany Elkin.
All
right. Let me just be very clear about this.
Let's hear it.
People like Brittany Elkin, they find ways to lose.
Hello.
In moments like this. Am I right or am I wrong?
Oh, you're totally right. Okay. All right. I'm going to say this. First off, I was extremely impressed with the mental toughness of Claressa Shields. All right.
Did you expect there to be something different, John?
Hold on.
John,
No,
because expect
because
her to be any different than that.
Well,
Like, she's mentally tough. She's for sure 100%
no doubt about that. But
tough.
people panic at times too. When it's all of a sudden you're under the lights and bad things are happening, they can panic, and so it can just lead towards bad things happening. Look at very mentally tough and everything. What is the thing? And you just got to explain this to me. We got this whole thing with boxing, and look, Claressa Cummings, she's a 2-time Olympic champion. She is a WBC, WBA, all these different titles she's won in boxing. And we, as we bring a boxer in, and she's I know they want to build her. You put her against someone that's got a losing record, 3-6. Why is it that if an MMA person goes to boxing, we put them against the very best? But if a boxer comes into MMA, we're going to put them against someone who's not even close to being near the best. What? I just don't get it. If you're going to put a world champion in, have Claressa fight frickin' Kayla. You don't want her to have her lose. I understand, but I understand. And look, I'm not saying it bad, and I'm just joking about it. But Claressa, she really did a good job of maintaining composure in bad spots. But and this is no offense to Elkin, but if you have someone mounted for, we'll say, 8 minutes of 12 minutes of fighting, and that person doesn't even have a mark on them, there's a problem. All right, just a problem, dude. You're not. You didn't even come close to doing a good submission. You didn't come close to doing damage. You're just. The PFL got what they wanted. They got a win for Claressa. Good for Claressa. I give her credit. She's been working hard. She got that win. She was tough, but she is not even close to being ready for a good fighter.
No, but John, I'm
just being honest.
I understand you're being honest, but I really believe that she did all the things that you said that she did. She showed her determination. Yep. She showed her composure. She fought out of shitty positions. She survived the rounds in certain situations. I mean, you could have said one of those rounds was a 10-8 round. Only had Elkins done a little bit more damage, or threatened.
What damage?
I'm saying, had she done a little bit more damage, had she
even tried a good submission and tried to do something that would end a fight?
Yeah. But I'm not going to take anything away from Claressa Shields. What I'm going to do is I'm going to point at Brittany Elkins and just say, she's not the only one. I've seen fighters in moments that they've had our boy, Chael Sonnen, moments like that, like those, like the Anderson Silva fight. It's like it's almost like you find sometimes. It's just
find the way to lose.
You find a way to lose sometimes, and it's so weird. It's a shitty situation to be in, but it seems to happen sometimes to the same people, and it's happened to her a couple of times in terms of where she's had some decent performances, but then finds a way to lose as it goes into the later rounds. This was a situation too. All she had to do was move more. Like she could have just moved, and she could have went turtled up, and then went to standing up. She would have been better off there because she would have got the takedown probably, and if they were back on their feet. But she decided to ball up, like basically in a side position, and just let her tee off.
Not even ball up. Josh, she's hooked on a leg with her arm.
Yes.
What is that? Whoever told you if you're in this position and you have your legs holding onto your opponent's one leg, I want you to hook your arm so she can crush down on your arm. Mm-hmm. Because this is going to be good for you.
Yeah.
Come on.
People just panic sometimes, John. They panic in big time situations and big time. That was just a big opportunity for her, and she was on her way, and it just didn't happen. And the PFL, you're right. The PFL, they get what they want, but I'm not ready to throw Claressa Shields to Kayla Harrison. I'm not ready for that. But it's not fair. But give her some time.
Look, as simple as Claressa is a phenomenal boxer, and if you took, I know her and Chris Cyborg are friends. You took Chris Cyborg and you put Chris Cyborg against Claressa Shields in an MMA match. Chris Cyborg will put her out in the first fucking round. If you put Chris Cyborg and Claressa Shields in a boxing match, I think Claressa Shields will have a good chance of putting Chris out possibly in the first round. She's a boxer and she's coming into MMA. But the whole point is you're building up this world championship boxer where, man, I don't know. Where is it going to go? Because who do you have to put her against? The only one you have that's in she's 155 pounds. She's like Kayla. Who do you have? You're gonna put her on the row of fighters that you put Kayla Harrison against?
I don't know.
Because, Elkin is one of the ones that she fought against Kayla Harrison, didn't she?
I believe so.
Yeah. I don't know. There's nowhere for it to go as I look at it. And
Kayla Harrison can make 145. I don't see why she doesn't go to 145. She can make 145. That's what the frustrating part of it all is that she did it for Invicta, which should be the smaller organization over PFL. And why wouldn't she do that in her own organization? Why not go to 145? I wouldn't say there's a ton of girls to fight there, but there's a lot more girls to fight there at 145 for her to fight. And it doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
It just comes down to the potential of making the most amount of money for competition that's going to be smaller than her every single time. Look, Claressa Shields got some time. She's going to have some time. And if I was the promotion, I'd be doing the same thing. I'd be padding her record, letting her get some fights in there and letting her get some time to get better. Because in the situation, John, is they could end up like an Aaron Pico, where the first four or five fights of their career, they end up being a 500 fighter. Well, now look at if we've taken our time away from Aaron Pico and let him develop himself and get better from fight to fight, which is what they've done since he lost to Adam Boric. He's fucking on fire right now. The guy looks like a fucking complete animal, And I mean, Aiden Lee's a fucking savage. We'll get into that more, but I'm just simply saying they're going to have to do the same thing for Claressa Shields.
Okay, but
when
you have a
Kayla
main
Harrison
event that has an 0-0 fighter in Claressa Shields, now obviously has a huge background in boxing, but an 0-0 fighter going against a fighter that's 3-6 and has lost. How many did she lose in a row before this fight? Because now she's 3-7. She has to have like five losses in a row, 4 losses in a row. She lost to Amanda Bell, Kayla Harrison, Bobby Joe. Don't even ask me. That's your main event. Your fighter's got 3 losses in a row. Is going to be in my main event. This is where that's where my problem lies. It's like, what are we doing? I don't know.
I get what you're saying. I don't think it should have been a main event, but I think it should have. They should have had Clay Collard coming off of his win against Tennessee. He should have been the main event.
Yep, that or Tyler Diamond against Brendan. I'm not saying don't have Claressa. When I look at a main event and I have a fighter that's lost multiple fights in a row is the main event, you lose me, even if it's Claressa Shields.
Yeah. I got you. But I mean, overall though, they had some fun fights. Those are the ones that I saw as well. So they had some fun fights, man. It was good. Is there any other fights on there that you saw that I didn't get to see?
I saw the Marcin Held and Oliver, and I was wondering if Marcin was going to be able to get the submission. Wasn't able to. Albert Mercier, he's just too solid in his wrestling and grappling. So, but he's that guy. Is the first round is going to get a submission, or he's going to lose a 3-round decision. Well,
he won a 3-round decision in his last fight, I believe.
Yeah, he did.
Which was very rare for him, by the way, like you were saying. He either gets the submission in the first or the halfway through the second, or he loses. Yeah. But last time didn't. He got the win. All right. Well, hey, let's talk about some Bellator. We've got a lot to talk about in terms of the Bellator situation. So, overall, look. Alex Polizzi had a great performance, dominant performance. Like you said, Gustavo Trujillo just doesn't fight smart, And once he got taken down, he thought he was going to be able to do something more than he was able to, and wasn't able to. Marina, fucking A, Mokhnatkina. Gosh,
Mokhnatkina.
Anyways, guys, I want to let you know, John was not able to do the interviews all week. He wasn't able to do the interviews, all night in the cage. So because he's got broken ribs and it hurts to go up and down the stairs and, whatever. Anyways, not a big deal. So we put him at the desk. So I called the prelim fights. Because we lost some prelim fights, during the week or whatever, I knew that we were going to be short on time leading up. We didn't want to have an hour gap like we did for the last show between the prelims and the main card. And so they decided that we would interview every fighter. And as soon as that freaking happened, I got stuck having to say Marina Mokhnatkina, her name, in a live interview. I said it fine. The whole damn fight card, the whole fight she's fighting, I'm saying it proper. I get in there at the very end. I call her Marina Mokhnatkina. It's fucking just totally dropped the ball, man. There was so many things. I haven't had to call a fight. It's been 6 fights, 7 fights since I've had to call a fight with you. It's been years. It's been since last December I called a fight with you. And so I was
it was good to hear you on there. You did good.
Yeah, until I called a fucking Darce, an anaconda.
You called it
Darce.
Anaconda. That was Lucas Brennan against Matt Skibicki. Lucas Brennan is starting to look really good. He's starting to look composed, confident in the cage. Man, he's got a submission game, and when it comes to the difference in all the different types of chokes and where he can hit them from, it was a nice start. What was funny is you guys were I'm sitting up and thinking, I go, that's an anaconda, right? Yeah, and because he's switching the positions, right? And MVP looks there, he goes, that's an anaconda. I said, yeah, take a look where it's at, right? He goes, yeah, and then our producer Fish comes out, he goes, was that a Darce or was that an anaconda? He goes, Tyler's in the truck going, that's an anaconda.
Yeah.
And so I just talked to Morrow and put one of our friends in a Darce and an anaconda so he could see the difference and know exactly so he could call it.
Yeah, you know what happened was I was watching the actual fight, and Lucas's butt was facing me, and so his feet and butt were facing me, and I wasn't looking at the monitor like I should have been, and it wasn't a very clear shot anyways, but regardless, when he rolled him through the second time, and I was explaining to him I'm trapping it with the knee, I didn't change the name, so I should have, but I didn't, but it's my mistake.
It's a biggie. No one's ever done that ever. I've never called anything wrong. Joe Rogan's never called anything wrong. We all do. It's just what it is.
You're making me feel so much better. Oh man! But Lucas is looking very good.
I still like the 4-year age difference from 21 to 26.
You're such a jerk, man. You're such a jerk. 21 to 26 on the tail of the tape is 4 years, ladies and gentlemen.
4 years. It's the new kind of math.
Thompson.
It's the new kind of math.
It's that new math, man. What do they call it? They call it that Common Core.
That's it.
It's the Common
Core.
Core.
Eventually, it will be true.
Yeah. Lucas looked great. I mean, he kind of follows a page out of his father's book, man. His dad was always good on the neck and good on the back. Yep. You know, strong, physically strong, and looked like he's just maturing as a fighter. I think he's 21 years old.
21, dude.
21
Super young. 21.
Yeah, he's
just 21.
So just a young man, and yeah, he's gonna be good. You know, he's got to work on his wrestling's decent. You know, he's got to work on his striking a lot more to help set up his wrestling.
Got to be more confident in it.
Yeah, he's a little bit more one-dimensional right now, but I think he's gonna come a long way here shortly. They're start stepping up his competition. He's 5-0. I mean, all of his fights I think have been in Bellator. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Can you scroll down there, Dave?
No,
I think every single one of his fights have been in Bellator. Yeah. So I mean, he's coming up. You know, they're kind of doing for him what they're going to be doing with Claressa Shields. So I'd like, you know, let's pump the brakes a little bit. Let's give Claressa some time. Okay, give her a little bit of time. But this young man's got a bright future. I think as long as he stays on track and you know, just keeps trains with his dad, man. I was in this real quick short story for you guys. I was supposed to fight his dad. That I just aged myself for all of you. I was supposed to fight his dad. This kid's 21 years old. I was supposed to fight his dad probably at least 4 or 5 times. I would say twice maybe in the King of the Cage, maybe one time, or maybe twice in the WC and one time in the King of the Cage. And then I was supposed to fight him, I want to say in Pride, in the Bushido. I think him and I were supposed to fight. And that didn't come to fruition either. So I think it was about 4 times him and I were supposed to fight. And it never happened. But yeah, I was. Oh no, you know what? There was one of the. What was that? What was that event they stopped in Palm Springs? American Athlete.
Yeah, that was a long time.
Was it called the American Athlete or the Ultimate Athlete? Ultimate Athlete. Yeah. The one they remember they had the stabbings with the Mongols and the and the Hells Angels, or was it just the Mongols?
No, it was just the Mongols that they had their fighter in there, and then all of a sudden there was a giant brawl. Yep.
We were there. Bobby Southwood was actually up on the ramp getting ready to walk down into the ring to fight. And fucking the shit broke out. And Bobby's like, I am not walking fucking down there. Fucking shit cheers started growing.
Wasn't that a Morongo?
Yep.
Morongo Casino? Yeah.
No. It wasn't at a casino.
I thought it was the
Morongo. It was out in a big open, was it?
Yeah.
No, it was the it was the other biker gang was the Mongols.
No. They had the Morongo Event Center. It was at the Morongo Casino, but it was outside in a tent.
It was the Mongols, but remember, it was them versus another group of bikers.
Never mind. You're getting too much of the M's. Difference between Mongol and Morongo. Morongo is an actual casino and hotel.
It all sounds the same to me, John. Same thing, right? Potato, tomato, potato, whatever it is. Got it. Good stuff. Anyways, hey, Justin Gonzalez explodes onto this scene, coming from the LFA, champ there, beats Taiwan Claxton, who was ranked number 9. And look, nothing against Justin Gonzalez. I had Taiwan Claxton winning the fight, but I'm not mad that they gave it to Justin. It was very close. And I was telling Justin in the lobby there, I said it was one of those fights where one guy could win it 30-27. Each round was that close, and one guy could win it 30-27, you know, and then the other person, the final judge, could 29-28 to one person, you know. So that's kind of how those fights go when they're that close, and that's kind of what I saw, you know, that night. Yeah. Good fight. He was, honestly, you told me he was tough. I had never seen him fight before, but he was a lot tough. I did some research on him in terms of, you know, on the internet and stuff. Seen a couple of his fights there. I was like, he's good. I think Taiwan's probably going to get him, you know. But he, you know, great conditioning. Wasn't even breathing hard after the second round. You know, I felt like it wasn't going his way, but he was still getting some stuff in there. He was landing. He's quick as hell. I was expecting Taiwan to be the faster fighter. He wasn't. I thought Gonzalez was the faster fighter when he threw. He just didn't throw enough. He had to set the tempo more. They kept banging heads, man. The cuts on the nose and the cuts on the face were from the headbutts. Yeah, those were from the headbutts. So, I mean, but overall, I'm excited. Debut. Young new talent and very energetic. I'm pumped to have him fight more. Kyle Crutchmer and Levon Chokele. That's another name that I was struggling with that night. Crutch, it's just the wrestling, man. That Oklahoma State wrestling, trains with DC and all the guys at AKA and stuff, and they got a whole bunch of guys.
Crutch just needs to figure out this. He's got the wrestling as far as he gets the takedowns. He gets deep on guys. He gets the takedown. He's just got to figure out ways of getting some separation at moments so he can land heavier strikes.
Yeah. I talked to him in the lobby at 3 a.m. I talked to him at the lobby, and I was like, you just got to learn, man, to posture up, put your forehead against the cage, get your chest pressure over them when you have them against the fence, and hip in and squeeze your knees around their butt, and just start laying down some other 2 or 3 hard strikes, go back down, a little bit of body head, and then when you're ready to go again, do it again. You got to do those things, and then when you did pass, you didn't do anything with it. Either start working towards a submission or just little hammer fists until he starts to move, and then go big shots. The more you strike, the more when they start to move and mount offense, you strike and then they clam back up. I had to tell them too, when you do your ground and pound, always go to the body first, because that brings their elbows down to block their body because they don't want to get hit in the body anymore. It opens up their head. So you go, I would elbow the body from the guarded position and then come back over the top like Fedor style with like loopy ground and pound. Do something, work, whatever, mix it up. But he didn't do anything. He didn't do a whole lot, and I was riding him hard a little bit at in the lobby there. And
it's going to be the difference of the level that he actually ends up attaining as a fighter. Because if he continues with what he's doing, he's going to start losing fights based upon there's going to be guys that are better at getting up off of the ground. He's going to have to work harder at getting more takedowns, and then it's just going to start being a bad, position for him. So you start doing that ground and pound, you start becoming effective in putting some damage on someone and slowing down their ability to damage you. The wins are going to just keep piling up. So
what else comes down to is that the more strikes you throw, the more they move, and the more that opens up submissions. Yeah. It could also open up them, getting free and escaping. But okay. Yeah, that's okay as well. You just got to remember that it's not life or death whether they fucking get back to their feet. That's the other thing. Let them get all the way back up and then just, mat return them. If you mat return them, then they're getting more exhausted as well. Because I saw him at the end in the lobby, and he's like, I said, you look tired in the third. He's like, I was fucking exhausted. He's like, I did a lot of wrestling those first 2 rounds. I'm like, yeah. But it'll be less energy if you're not focused directly on just holding someone down and you're just throwing you throw 1 or 2 big shots. They clam up a little bit and they don't move as much when you throw those big shots unless you're not hitting them clean, like if you're barely grazing them or they're able to block, but then they turtle up and they don't move as much. Yeah. So I would always throw strikes to keep them to sit still, and then if they feel like they start to move off of those strikes, then that's when you want to clam up on them and lock them down. But I figured, he'll get some work in. He'll look back at the tape and realize, a lot of the stuff we were talking about. He said he felt it as well. He just felt tired after all the wrestling. So, Mark Lemminger got the win over DeMarquez Jackson. Jackson just looked tired, man. He looked
exhausted right away.
Yeah. I think for him, he doesn't know how to, like we've said this before. Guys like Michael Chandler, same type of problem, And there was who else on this whole thing? Yaroslav Amosov. Like those guys. Chandler and Amosov and Jackson, like they don't know how to fight at a pace. It's either all or nothing. Amosov slowed it down this fight, but he slowed down the rest of us as well. Like this.
Did.
But it was okay. But what was I talking about? I was talking about Jackson. Yeah, he spent his wad, and once he spent his wad, Lemminger was still there, and he was just putting the pressure on him. Yeah. He was able to switch and scramble out of some different positions, get to the top position, and he made him work. And when he did get to the top, he flattened him out, and it was over.
Landed some big shots, and that's what you're talking about. Did a great job of getting his back, getting his hips up off of the ground. He was stuck. Took some big shots. So nice job by Mark Lemminger. Got himself back on the winning track there because he had 2 losses in a row. So. That was a big win for him. All right, here's the fight. This is the one I want to talk about. Go ahead.
Fight of the night.
Yeah, baby.
Fight of the night.
Aiden Lee.
Performance of the night.
All right, I'm just going to say it. Aiden Lee. I know you lost, brother, and I know that sucks. God damn it, your stock went up. You fought your ass off. You were going, you got out of some good submission holds. You worked yourself back to your feet multiple times. You were always trying to do something to change the course of the fight. You got nothing to feel bad about. I know it sucks that you lost, but goddamn it, you came across the pond and you put on a performance, because it takes two to tango to make that type of fight. And you were in shape. You were doing everything that anyone could ask. You looked, you just looked very impressive in your calmness in the fight, in bad situations, working yourself out. I just wanted to say, man, I know it sucks losing, but goddamn, you went up in my book as far as I want to watch you again, brother.
I hope they bring him back. I mean, I know he's got a contract with us, but they did start separating themselves a lot from a lot of the talent that we had taken over from Bama. Bellator started now kind of releasing the ones that have a couple losses in a row or have had a loss. But I'm just simply saying he deserves another shot.
Oh.
I mean, the kid's tough, man. He was fighting out of every position. On top of that, he was actually trying to go for position and trying to get finishes himself. There was a lot of things that he did. I mean, he got taken down, I want to say 8 times in the first round.
No.
And he got up almost, I'd say at least 5 or 6 of those times he was able to get up. Like it was very impressive, man. It was very impressive.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I hope to see him again. But Aaron Pico, to me, this whole night was about Aaron Pico and his performance. What he did throughout the whole night. It was the darces. It was all of the chokes and all.
Those are all anacondas, damn it.
Whatever. Okay. All of the anacondas that
go.
he was trying to put on. All of the anacondas, and then he was also trying to hit an arm and guillotine at one point.
Yep.
He was on point.
He was
like,
all over.
Remember, he did the step over armbar. So like Aiden was trying to like push off and get up, and he jumped to. It was almost like a flying armbar, but I don't want to say that because it wasn't falling.
Gave too much space, and he did not have the head control. That was the problem.
Yeah, he didn't throw the leg fully over. But the simple fact of the matter is he went for it.
Yep.
Like right in the middle of exchange. It was very impressive. Wasn't able to get it, but I thought he did everything. Everything was good.
The thing what was so impressive is, like we knew it, and Aiden had talked about he was gonna take Pico down at times, and we went, what are you thinking? Why are you gonna waste energy trying to do that? That's crazy. Don't do that. But that's what he's saying. But it was how Pico was taking Aiden Lee down effortlessly. And we've seen that Aiden's got good wrestling defense.
Yeah.
But he was changing levels. He was allowing Aiden to come in with shots, and he would change them all, and it was effortless in taking him down. There was nothing that Aiden could do to stop it. And he was showing speed in when he was doing things. His hands were fast. His, positional changes were fast. The way he dropped levels was fast. Everything was fast, and it was effortless in the way he was doing things. He made a good fighter, just work to survive like it was nothing for him. He was just going from one thing to the next, and the other thing on top of it, when you looked at he wasn't even breathing hard. At the end of the second round, I was looking at him, and I'm like, he's not even breathing hard. He just put out now 10 minutes of non-stop movement, action, damage, and he's not even taking a deep breath. He's gonna be a nightmare with what Jackson Wink and those coaches have done with him as far as mentally taking a guy who, I'm gonna say it right now, he was broken.
Mm-hmm.
He was broken because he had this pressure and expectations, and he wasn't meeting them, and he didn't know what to do, and they took him and they've rebuilt him, and now he understands how to be a fighter. He understands the rhythm of the fight and how he's the one in control of that rhythm. And when you're in control of that rhythm, things become easy, and he's just got it going right now. There's no one. If you're in the featherweight division, you're going, just keep that away from me for a while right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to say he's ranked, 7 or 6? I think he's 6 right now.
I don't know.
Division. I mean, but he can't get any other top 10 fighters to fight him. So,
I don't blame guys, man. telling you.
I thought it was a good step up for him, though, in competition in terms of like the talent he's been fighting lately. Aiden Lee was a big step up for him in competition. So I think for Aiden Lee, though, don't be down on yourself, man. You had a great performance. Just wasn't enough, but this is a learning experience for you, man. I think I'd like to see maybe a Mads Burnell and Aaron Pico.
Mads Burnell. Well, if you're Aaron, you're going, doesn't make sense for me, but okay. But if you're Mads Burnell, yeah, and Mads has got a great submission game. But I think if you're looking at it, Aaron Pico against a really good, wily veteran like Daniel Weichel, or put him back with Adam Borsch. They've had one.
Well,
he wants that. He wants that as a redo. Maybe you put him back. Yeah,
possibly. But Weichel's fighting Keone Diggs here coming up here shortly.
Okay.
I think in the next card. So they've got those two. I guess maybe you could have them fight later on in September, October, the two of them.
Yeah. If he's on the next card, that's a 2-week difference. Boom, there you go.
Yeah, but if Keone wins,
well,
you
that's
can
different.
Have him fight Keone. Yeah. Or you can have him fight JJ Wilson.
Yeah.
JJ's undefeated, young, talented.
Yep.
Somewhere in there. If you wanna be a total jerk, you could say let's just jump the line and go right up to Emmanuel Sanchez.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that yet.
That's smart though. See, that's smart though. That's smart. Yeah, Pico and Weichel would be good, or Pico and Keone Diggs would be good as well. Good stuff. I think I'd like to see the Mads Burnell. I know it doesn't do anything for Pico, but it gets him more experience against guys that can grapple. Mads doesn't have great stand up. Pico's got heavy hands.
Slick ground game.
He's got a slick ground game, but can he get Pico down?
I don't know if he can get Pico down, but he's good with hitting submissions even from underneath. I've even seen him hit a Japanese necktie from underneath. So
yeah, he hits that thing from everywhere.
So
it's
he's
like
good.
It's his bread and butter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. Look, let's get into the two fights, the co-main event and the main event. You've got Paul Daley and Jason Jackson. I'm just going to be 100% honest with you guys. Both fights. People fight Paul Daley. It's been the same way since he was in the UFC. This is before he was in the UFC. People fight him, and they're going to just keep taking him down. That's all they're going to do. No, not a lot of guys are going to stand with him, and the ones that do,
usually
like
end up
Sabato
getting knocked out.
Usually end up getting knocked out. It's very rare do people stand with him and get the win. Nick Diaz, I think, is probably one of not even a handful of one or two people to ever probably stand with him and be able to finish him.
Look, the only two people I've ever seen hurt Paul Daley. Nick Diaz and Sabah Homasi. Homasi had him hurt in that first round.
Yeah, he did.
But Paul doesn't get hurt very often. So in the stand-up, you're taking a huge chance because he's got big power. I don't blame Jason Jackson for anything.
Not at all.
I thought he fought smart. It's the way to fight Paul Daley. Take him out of his ability to hurt you with big power. It's the right way to fight him, even though it's not what people wanted to see.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. I was expecting it to be like a fireworks type fight. I figured that Jason Jackson would wrestle a little bit, to at least threaten it, get to the top position, and try to do some heavy ground and pound, do some work. We've seen him do that before in the past, but it wasn't there. I think it was more like when I had MVP up with me at the desk, he's like, look, when you fight Daley, he's like, the last thing you want to do is let him get back up to his feet and give him an opportunity to knock you out with his left hook or his hands. He's like, it's just not what you want to do. And so if you can hold him down, you're going to hold him down. If that means not doing any work and just stilling around that way, that's what you're going to do. And that's kind of exactly what Jason Jackson did. The other thing as well is when you're talking about who had the most to lose, Jason Jackson did. He's ranked number 3 right now. He's coming off the big win over Neiman Gracie. He's coming off the win. Before that was, who was it before that?
The one before that was
before
Benson
Neiman. Oh, Benson Henderson, Neiman Gracie.
One before that was Jordan Mean.
Then Jordan Mean, and then Kichi. What's it called? Kichi Kunamoto, and then he should have beat Ed Ruth. I still believe that they messed up the actual scoring system on that fight. And Ed's my boy, man. And Ed's my boy. I train with him. I'm a homer. You guys all know that. Okay, I'm not lying about that. But yeah, he should have a what?
7 or 8 fight win streak going.
Go ahead, John. You count. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. 9 fight win streak.
Yeah.
It's probably 8. if you add the Ed one in there. Yeah, he should have a 9-fight win streak if you add the Ed one in there.
Yep.
Yeah, he should be on a 9-fight win streak. Here's the other thing. Like, we'll talk about it after this. Should he jump? Should he jump MVP for this title shot?
No.
MVP's number 2, and Jason Jackson is number 3.
Mm-hmm.
And Amosov is now the new champ, and I would imagine Lima just drops to number 1.
Okay.
So do you have Jason Jackson then fight Douglas Lima next, and you have MVP fight Yaroslav Amosov?
That's fine. I have no problem with that.
I mean, but if you're
just based upon, we'll go to that fight, Amosov against Lima. Based upon what Douglas Lima did in that fight, I would not give him a rematch. Not right now.
No. Yeah, we're talking about Lima. Yeah, absolutely not.
Okay, so there's no rematch
Absolutely.
there. So, all right, who am I going to put him against? Well, I would put him against Jason Jackson. That's a good matchup. That's a good fight, and I would put, since right now MVP is above, and he deserves to be above Jason Jackson right now, put him against Amosov. Everyone knows what Amosov does. Everyone knows what MVP does. Who's the guy that's going to keep the fight in their realm?
Like let's talk about Douglas Lima first. Let's break this whole thing down.
What's the one thing I said he cannot do
Lay on
before
his
the
back
fight?
and just lay on his back and just accept that
the
position.
Thank you. And what did he do?
Yeah.
Laid on his back.
He laid on his back.
Accepted that position. He starts
closing
his guard, starts doing a damn figure 4 on Amosov's body. It's like, have you lost your mind? I love Douglas Lima as a fighter. I love him as a person.
He's a great person.
Unbelievable, human being. He's a great fighter. But there's times that you just, and I don't know if it was that he, at a certain point, when Amosov took him down, and then he realized when he got taken down the second time, was like, I can't stop this guy's takedowns. And I don't know if that's what it was. And he was like, I just got to figure something out. Because to me, that's what he was looking for. One shot. He was looking for the one big shot that was going to hurt Amosov. And then he had the chance in the thing. It was the third round. If you're going to look and say, okay, he opened up towards the end of that round after being taken down. And he ended up, getting back to the feet. And he had some good shots that he landed in the end of the third round. But other than that, he didn't land anything really.
Yeah, I'm going to go a little bit deeper in all this with him. I have this belief, I think. I don't know, maybe it's a belief. I have this in my mind. I'm thinking this. I think tournaments are great. They're fun. But it's a finish line. It's a finish line of, I achieved my goal. I'm still the champion. I've won $1 million plus. Let's not forget, they get paid a lot of money. So they're getting their fight purses plus the $1 million. Yeah. His normal fight purse plus $1 million. And then he went up to fight Gegard Mousasi, and they gave him a big bump in pay for that specific fight. He's made a lot of money in the last year and a half. A lot of money. And so I wonder how comfortable he's like, I've done it all. I don't know if we're going to see a return to Douglas Lima. I don't think we're going to see the Douglas Lima that beat Rory McDonald, the one that was a dog against Korshkov all 3 times. And, I don't know if we're going to see that guy come back. I honestly don't know. When someone's done so much in the sport, and he's very humble, he's very quiet. You see him, he's always smiling. He's always majority of the times got his family with him. He's such a good person. Yep. So quiet, so nice, so everything. Just speaks highly about a lot of people, doesn't talk trash. I think that he's like, you know what? I've achieved everything. I'm sitting on a lot of money right now. I know he'll continue to fight, but I think if he takes another loss or two, I think he may just realize, like, you know what? I'm good. You kind of get to that point sometimes, John, because we've seen him accept this position before. Okay. Like in the fight when he fought Korshkov, I think the second time, Korshkov took him down a bunch of times, and he kind of just succumbed to the position. He's like, yeah. And then he finally got back up to his feet and knocked him out.
Yep.
And it was like, but he was able to kind of make him work for the takedowns here and there against the fence. Amosov never had to work for the takedown. He got to the body blocked. He put the knee between the legs. He lifted and elevated and pulled him away from the fence.
Yep.
And they did their research. They saw when he wasn't near the fence that he just accepts guard.
Yep.
And that's it.
Yeah.
So if you take him down, you pull him away from the fence, he just accepts guard.
Well,
and that's exactly what happened.
Go all the way back to when he first fought Rory McDonald. He had beaten Koreshkov and gotten the title back because he had lost it to Koreshkov. And he beats Koreshkov in the second matchup, and they put him against Rory McDonald. And look, he lost the first 2 rounds of that fight. And then he started putting it on Rory McDonald. And he takes the next 2 easy. And Rory is going out into the 5th round on one leg. His one leg is just a mess. And all Douglas Lima's got to do is keep this fight on the feet and just keep doing what you've been doing. You're gonna walk away with this win. And Rory shoots a long ass double leg to take him down, gets him down, and Douglas puts him in guard and stays in guard the entire round and loses the fight. And you go, what were you thinking? All you had to do was get back to your feet. And it was, obviously he's tired. And so, I'm not the one that's in there, feeling what he's feeling. But these are the moments that you cannot settle. And we've seen it too many times that he'll settle in these times like, I'll get back to my feet eventually and then I'll get my win. You can't settle for those because you might not get that opportunity. And he in my opinion, he let this fight with Koreshkov, Amosov fought smart, but he didn't fight great. He didn't fight great at all. And this is the one for a guy at 25-0. This was the fight he could have lost easily if someone had put some pressure back on him and done some things.
Yeah, here's the thing though, John. I'm not going to say that he didn't fight great. He didn't have to fight great. Yeah. That's the difference between that. Like he wasn't never put in a position where he had to fight hard. Like he touched Lima and then he shot in on a takedown, and once he lifted the leg, it was over. Like as soon as he lifted the leg, he worked his way from the single leg to the body lock yep. to the elevation, the lift, and pulled him into the middle of the middle of the cage, and he did the rest of the work from there. Now I am a little disappointed that he didn't try to go for more of a finish. He didn't try to pass guard. He didn't try to do any of that stuff. But then again, Lima never opened his guard, but he could have tried to make him potentially open the guard and by posturing up and doing more damage to him. But I look at it the other way. I look at it. I'm a victim blamer, I guess. Like this guy, he didn't have to do anything.
No.
He didn't have to do anything because
he's winning.
Like, look, if I'm going to keep, I'm just doing this, I'm going to win a title. I'm going to win a world title. Yeah. From the first Ukrainian in any major big promotion to ever win a world title. He's like, why would I take a chance? Yep. This is the easiest fight. This was potentially the easiest fight that he's had. I wouldn't say the easiest one in Bellator, but it was close. It was up there. You're talking about a guy who just went 5 rounds with Gegard Mousasi, a guy who just beat Rory McDonald and won the whole tournament, knocked out Michael Venom Page. Like this, Yaroslav Amosov came in and made it look easy. He didn't have, he could have probably went for the finish, but I'm telling everyone at home going, oh man, he's so boring. Guess what? If that was you in there and your one chance was to win the title and all you had to do is just keep doing what you're doing, you guys all would have taken the same exact road. We've seen other fighters do it. I mean, Khabib's made his career off of doing it. Now, I will say there is a difference though. Khabib does posture up a lot more, do a lot more ground and pound, there is a lot more communication, so it makes it more fun to watch it all, in terms of, okay, you must surrender, this is my destiny. Yeah, he's talking the entire time. I understand all of that. You guys know I'm a homer for Khabib because he's my boy. But Khabib's made a career off of doing exactly what Amosov did. Exactly. And there was a lot of pressure as the Khabib got closer to a title shot, and he wasn't as exciting in some fights as he was in some of the other ones. Give this guy a break. He's 26-0. He's got the best record in MMA right now. And everyone's like, oh, yeah, but he's fought, nobodies. No, he actually has fought some tough guys. It wasn't the guys that say Lima's fought, but he just dismantled Lima. And Lima has beaten some of the best guys. Like I said, just went the distance with Gegard Mousasi, who's 185 pounds, who has been a title holder at 185,
in
at
everything.
205, in every damn weight class. Like it's one of those things that look, you can't discredit this guy. And like I said, and here's the other thing as well. This will be the last thing I'll say, is that all the guys he trains with at ATT, they're all undefeated. Austin Vanderford, Dalton Rasta, and Johnny Eblin. The total record and combined record of all of them with Amosov is 49-0. They're all out of American Top Team. But the only difference is he's the 170-pound fighter, and they're all 185-pounders. And they all say the same thing. He's fucking really, really good. He's taking us down. He's dominating certain positions in certain days. He's the 175-pound. He's the 170-pounder. He's not the 185-pounder. All three of those guys are 185ers. So when I talk about him being good, he's good. You can't judge him based off this, given the fact that this is his opportunity to win a world title, man.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm going to just keep doing what I'm doing.
I agree.
Because it's fucking working.
Even though
if I blame anybody,
boring.
if I blame anyone, I blame Douglas Lima.
I agree. All right. The end with that one. Let's go to the UFC because they did have some really good fights tonight.
But first, you need to go to mybookie.ag.
Go,
hit
baby.
That promo code weighing in. Okay, hit the promo code weighing. Hopefully, some of you guys took up some of our what's it called? Our suggestions, and you placed some bets. You would have won some money tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So
I picked Brandon Moreno.
Go to mybookie.ag. Use the promo code weighing in, and they'll give you a little extra spending cash. You got some more fights coming up this weekend. You got some other stuff coming on too. So we'll do some more stuff on the MyBookie thing on the midweek show. You guys can get some bets in for next week. But hey, let's jump into the UFC. UFC had a good card tonight. Let me see. Where do you want to start here?
Chase Hooper. I want to start with Chase Hooper.
All right.
Him and Steven Peterson. Yeah, and this is my whole point with Chase Hooper. I really like that kid. But he's taking a lot of damage for a young kid. Yeah, he's pretty one-dimensional.
Mm-hmm.
Give him time, man. Let him get away from fighting guys in the UFC right now and get him some more experience and some more skills and some more tools in the toolbox so he doesn't end up a mess at an early age. I just look at him. The kid seems like a great kid. He's got a ton of talent, but he has no real power in his stand-up. He's not dangerous in any fashion in the stand-up. He's dangerous on the ground, and if someone can keep him from being able to take them down, they just beat him up. So, Sean Shelby, Mick, you guys are great guys. Give him some time. Tell him, hey, you know what? We're gonna push you to the side. I want you to go train some more, and train in the stand-up and start getting better there because there's no reason to get the kid a bunch of losses. He's young, man. He's 21, But I just look at it, and I was actually tweeting with Chris Brennan, because his son's 21.
Yeah.
Chase Hooper's 21. You know what? His son would beat Chase Hooper. And so there's no reason for him to be fighting some of the guys right now that he's fighting. Give him some time. Let him get some skills. Just look at it that way.
I look at it. I look at it the same as you. I do. But where I look at it differently is that with Chase Hooper, and if we're going to compare him to Lucas Brennan, is the difference is that Lucas Brennan looks like he's filled out muscular wise, whereas Chase Hooper has not.
Yeah,
he needs to spend time.
He hasn't matured. He's not a man yet.
No. But he needs to spend time working on his strength conditioning because there's no strength. I know he's got great technique.
Yes.
But he doesn't have the physical strength to hit a lot of that technique because he's fighting men. And he is not quite, I guess, I don't believe he hasn't hit that man level strength. You can tell by just looking at his body. Yep. He doesn't have it right now. I don't even think he's done growing, to be honest.
No.
I think he's gonna probably grow a little bit more from here. He just doesn't have that body that looks like he's done growing as a high school kid or a college kid. He looks like he's going to hit another phase.
He looks like a junior high kid.
Yeah, he does. But and so I think he needs to spend some time in the gym, working on his strength conditioning, getting stronger, feeling better, and then that will come along with the more of his stand-up training. During that time, you should be working those two things simultaneously. And your his jiu-jitsu is good.
Really good.
It's really good.
Yeah. He
just needs to, like I said, I think the strength will help with a lot of that. He doesn't have the strength. The physical strength is just not there, and then obviously the more these other these other guys are stronger than you, and the more you've got to fight hard, and the more shots you take, the more tired you get. So then you're less likely to get a submission. And that's really what it comes down to. You can't fight for those positions that you think you can get a finish in because you've taken so many shots.
Yep.
Oh, excuse me.
What are you doing? Why are you tired?
Oh man, I didn't go to sleep last night. I know you slept in the car. I didn't sleep in the car. Oh man.
A whole lot of sleep.
Yeah, that's my knock on it. But you know, I mean, look, he's young. I know he's got a lot of room in there to grow, but I agree with you on that whole situation. Whereas if it's Sean Shelby and McMahon, they've got to maybe tell him like, hey, we got to give you at least 6 to 8 months off. Yeah. You got to go in, hit the gym a little bit, get some strength, get some work on your stand up, start putting it together a little bit better. We love where you're at. Yep. We just would like you to be a little bit better because right now you're dealing with men and you're still not fully mature. But I thought the kid that stole the whole show tonight, just me personally, was Terrence McKinney.
Well, you come out and you hit a 7-second knockout, and it was 1-2, boom, boom.
In your debut.
And I hate to say, Matt Frivola, he's a tough dude. The guy's a gamer, man, and so he just got hit with that one where your chin gets snapped down, straight shot down the middle, and he was done. Just when you talk about coming out and putting on a performance in basically 10 days is how much time he had for the fight. He just fought in the LFA 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it could have been faster had the ref got in there quicker.
And then he blew his knee. If that's what he did, I don't know what he did, but it's I hope not.
I hope so. I hope he didn't do it. Looks like he might have tore it like a little bit of a meniscus or something because he jumped up and slammed down. Yeah, I mean, but overall though, I mean, like I think it's great for debuts like that to come in. It's like, oh shit, look, and he just starts somebody. What they say, like his last couple fights, they've all been like in the first round or in the first couple minutes of the first round. So he's obviously got the talent. He's very accurate with the strikes. He's got the power. I didn't know what to expect, to be honest, because I mean, I'm just going to be 100% honest. I don't really follow a whole lot of what the LFA does. I think they're a great organization, and they're a great organization for young fighters to get into. I just don't know. I don't follow them as much, but yeah, they are. He had a great performance. Great way to enter into the UFC, and congratulations, young man.
Well, I want you to think. Look at his last 5 fights. I think 117. Excuse me. He had a 57 seconds of the first round, a 16 seconds, a 17 seconds.
He lost though in the 57 seconds. He lost by a triangle choke.
Oh, is that the one he got triangle choke? That's right.
Yeah. Okay.
So his next 4, 16 seconds, 17 seconds, minute 12, and then 7 seconds. So he's not putting a whole lot of time in. He's actually getting paid very well for the amount of time he's putting in. So good job.
Yeah. Just keep doing what you're doing, young man.
Just
just
be careful of jumping off of things.
Yeah, don't fall in love with your power. Remember to always make sure you do your cardio. But I don't even know how to say this guy's name is
Evloev.
He had Dowdu's number the whole night.
Boy, his wrestling.
We've
watched him multiple times. His wrestling is good. He's got good stand-up, but his wrestling, dude, he moves on the ground. At one point, Hakeem had the ability to look like he was going to get himself out and turn the position.
Mm-hmm.
Did a beautiful job. All of a sudden, you see his hip come out. Boom! All of a sudden, right back to having the back. He's slick. He's good. Yep.
Reminds me a little bit of the Dagestani guys.
Yeah.
We have at AK. Yeah. All those guys. You got the Islam. You got 2 Islams. You got Abu Bakr. You've got all the other ones that they bring in. They bring in a crew of young talents, Umar, Usman. Usman is there right now with Abu Bakr and Islam. So, but yeah, I thought he fought a great fight. His stand-up it needs a little bit of work, but it's still pretty damn good. Still good. You can tell he's not as comfortable in the stand-up, but his top position and his wrestling it's good. Dowd just didn't have a number for him. He looked like he was gaining some steam at the beginning of the third. Touched him up a couple times.
Yeah.
Looked like he rocked I don't know how to say his name. Aviov. Looked like he rocked him, Aviov or whatever. It looked like he rocked him a little bit. Yeah, man, I'm just horrible with names. Horrible with math, horrible with numbers. It's all right.
Mohaknakina.
Mohaknakina, yeah. Yeah, I said it right the whole damn time. Just couldn't say it right during the damn interview. But great performance by him. And then Lauren Murphy with the win.
Yeah.
John.
Yep.
John.
Talk to me. You
Did she win 30-27?
No. Negative.
John. I mean, I want her to win.
Okay.
I want her to win because I thought she's been around for a while. She's been fighting for that title shot position.
I think a lot of people I think a lot of people thought Joanna won 29-28.
I thought Calderwood won 29-28 as well.
It was close.
I thought she did. It was.
I look at the rounds and stuff, and there was a couple you're looking at. She definitely won the second round as far as Lauren won the second round, no doubt about it. The first round, there was moments that Lauren was doing good. There was moments that JoJo was doing good. Third round, same thing to a point. And so I can see where it ends up judged depending upon where you're seeing the angle of the shots from and what you're giving. It's just one of those that you could have said JoJo won the first and third, but
yeah, I had JoJo winning the first and third, but I thought the first round was close. I could see how it went to maybe Murphy.
Yeah,
but
close.
The third round I gave to Calderwood
JoJo
for sure.
Yeah, same here
for sure.
I did too.
So, Anders and Stewart, it wasn't the fight that we were hoping. Considering what happened last fight, we were thinking they would be kind of like a repeat of just them coming in, throwing down, shit happening, but it didn't pan out that way. But it was a decent fight. But the fight of the night, from beginning to end, was Riddle and
Drew Dober and Brad Riddle. Man, they were going at it.
What a fucking fight!
They were going at it. It was just, and both of them at times hurt each other. Brad Riddle in the beginning, Drew Dober hurt him. You could see it. But man, smart. It's not that you have to get the takedown. Here's a guy in Brad Riddle who is a striker. This guy, he's a good striker, but smart enough when he gets hurt, close the distance. You don't have to get the takedown. You just have to keep your opponent from being able to hurt you, damage you more, keep the effects of you being hurt on you. Just give yourself some time by holding on to their body, pressing them against the cage, whatever it is, so you can clear out the cobwebs and then come back and get yourself back into the fight, man. Just really smart fighting by Brad Riddle. That's what we talk about. That's fight IQ. He was very smart and he didn't set his feet and start slinging leather at Drew. That would have probably ended badly for him. And he had his moments, and then he started putting it on Drew Dober at times. And dude, Drew takes a shot, man.
Yeah.
He got an iron chin too, man, because he took some big shots in that fight and kept walking forward. He was hurt at the end of the round on the one. He got stung, and he, it was good. And you watch him kind of wobbles. He's going back to his corner. He felt that one. But that was a hell of a fight. Just a great back and forth.
I loved every minute of that fight. I was getting ready to leave, because I was going to go watch the pay-per-view over at a friend's house. I was like, I'll just watch this in the car. And I'm so glad I decided just to sit in the house and just watch that fight. Because after I watched 2 minutes of the first round, I was like, I'm not going anywhere. I just sat down on my seat. I was like, nah, I'm going to sit right here and watch this fight. But it was a fantastic fight. We got a lot of flack over not talking about this fight being a good fight. Because remember last week we talked about just the Murphy fight and Calderwood fight in terms of like one or two fights out of the prelims we were going to talk about for the lead up. Yeah. But I was like, look, we were talking about more of the fight that has the most repercussions for it.
That was the whole reason for it.
Yeah, Laura Murphy, there's the chance of a title shot was on the line. Yep. I don't know if she secured one now because of that, but yeah, the Drew Dober fight and Riddle fight was obviously an amazing fight.
Fire.
Everything about it. That's exactly how you want your young talents to fight. You want them to come out there, lay it on the line. Riddle he was in that first round. Dober was a lot faster. It seemed like he was touching him and it was a one step ahead, just slightly though. That's all it took. Then he rocked him, about 2 minutes in, 2.5 minutes in. And then he was able to, like you said, survive the onslaught. With like 40 seconds left, he rocked Dober. And that whole last 40 seconds was him just touching Dober. Yeah. And Dober walked back, you said, all on stilts. Second round, great fight. Third round looked like Riddle just started finding the mark, as Dober started to slow down.
He started to understand the distance better, and he was landing his shots where Dober was having a hard time to land his.
Well, he looked like he was getting tired. It looked like Dober was getting tired. He was throwing a lot of heat, a lot of hard shots. Both of those guys. I was like, man, I can't imagine fighting guys that throw like that. Like they were on point and they were throwing everything with heat. I was like, God, ugh. Like, I tell you, like people ask me, like, I'm sorry, man. I can't go to a fucking Bellator or a UFC or any fucking fighting event without someone say, Josh, get back in there. Like, you're out of your day. Every time I see Patricio and Patricky, man, you got to just have fight one more time. Fuck no. If you guys walk past and hear you guys getting hit, I have no desire. You guys are animals. Fucking savages, all of them. These two guys tonight, they made sure that I'd never want to go back. they just like listening, like seeing their hair and their head shake the way, like in their, it just was like, nah, I'm good, man. I'm good. No thanks.
Feel really
No
good
thanks,
sitting
man.
on the outside here.
Yeah, like I already aged myself when I told everyone that I was supposed to fight Lucas Brennan's dad. And he's fucking 21 years old. They'll let you guys know how long I was.
Okay, you want to? Here's the true story. I was.
Well, I would hope so. I don't want you to tell me a lie. Go ahead, tell me your truth.
Well, sometimes when you tell a lie, it's a great story. I met Chris when he first came to the Gracie Academy. That's the only time that I could ever beat him. Was when he first came, because he came in. He had a friend named Jeremy Williams who became a great fighter. Rest his soul, he passed, but that was back in like '92 when Chris first went to the Gracie Academy. He said, "I'm going to be a fighter." And sure as hell,
It's
had a
crazy,
good career.
right?
So.
These young guys, it's crazy. Paul Craig had a dominant performance tonight. Looked fabulous, but let's talk about the great refereeing in that situation. I thought it was wonderful that the ref allowed his arm to get dislocated and then
just
allowed
sit
him
there
to
and let it flop around like
and let it flop around while he got hit and elbow strike to the head 10, 15 times. I don't know. I thought it was a wonderful job. But John, I feel like these athletic commissions in whatever fucking state they decide to do a show in, they always want to insert their people instead of top referees in situations like this. Now, please go ahead, preach, my brother, preach. Tell me what you think.
I think you said it all. Here's the problem. All right, the referee involved, Al Guiney. He's a great guy, super nice guy. All right, and I have nothing bad to say about him. But it's exactly what you're saying, because let's take a look at the referees they had for the show here. They had Jason Herzog. They have Herb Dean. They have Mike Beltran. They have Mark Goddard. And they have Al Guiney. So which one is the one that's kind of out of place in this group? Well, it's Al. He's the guy that doesn't have a lot of big-time experience. He's done some, fights he's done them in Bellator. He's done a couple of UFCs. But this is where athletic commissions, when you got to look, there's been Andy Foster, who is in California, used to sit there and he used to, when I was working, he would say, he goes, I just, he says, if I have a big fight, I put John McCarthy in there. He says, that way no one can say anything about me. He goes, if John McCarthy screws up, he goes, I didn't screw up. John McCarthy screwed up. He goes, there's no one better than I could put in that position. So the press can't get on me for putting someone that I should have put somebody else or something like that. And that does take, and that's what Herb does, or Mark Goddard does, or Jason Herzog, or Mike Beltran. That's what they do for the athletic commission. When you take a look and you have 4 guys sitting there that you could have in that spot, but no, I wanted to take my guy, and this is what happens is they take and they say, well, look, this, our guy has worked all the small events. We want to give them something. And I understand you want to give them something, and I'm not saying you're wrong, but you're wrong because it's not about your guy. It's about the fighters. And this has happened in the past. When Ronda Rousey fought Miesha Tate, go back and watch the fight, because when Ronda ends up getting a hold of Miesha's arm, Miesha tries to fight her way out of that armbar, and Ronda not only takes and, she sublugates the arm by bending it backwards. It's dislocated. You can see it, and the referee at the time just lets it go. Well, when you dislocate an arm, a lot of people say, well, if the fighter wants to continue, they should be able to continue. No, they should not be able to continue, because you have things that are happening inside of that arm that can end up actually even costing the fighter their life. Because if one of the major arteries in that arm gets twisted or cut, or a bone scrapes it and it starts to have a leak, they could bleed to death. So there comes a point in fighting. This is a sporting event. Fighting is, we do this in the UFC, if it's in Bellator, in the PFL, wherever, it's sport. And there comes a point where you get checkmated. And when your arm gets dislocated, like we saw with Jamal Hill and Paul Craig, it's over. You lost. You got checkmated. And when we have an official that is standing inside of that cage as close as anyone can be, and they don't see that dislocation, or they see it and allow the fight to continue, then we have someone that shouldn't be doing that job. Somebody else should have been doing it. And that's really what we have here is, you cannot tell me that you didn't have somebody else there that was better prepared to handle that situation. And if you had somebody that was better prepared to handle that situation and you put the other person in there, then shame on you. It's your fault. You're not doing your job in protecting the fighters. It's just the way it is. You're supposed to be there to do things for the betterment of the sport and the betterment of the fighters.
So what do you do, though, in those situations with the refs that are trying to get top talent refereeing jobs?
Okay, but all right, you've got
to give them a chance, an opportunity in these situations. I'm going
to ask you a question, because this is what people don't understand about refereeing and the difference of, you could just put anybody in any of these spots. And this is some of the athletic commissions don't get it. Is, Josh, when you first started fighting, okay, your first fights, when you walked out, how nervous were you?
I didn't know what I was getting myself into, so I'm not very nervous.
Okay.
But no, I know what you mean.
All right, so when you first fought, we'll say Hermes Franca in the UFC.
Yeah.
Kind of nervous?
Yeah, I was pretty nervous.
Yeah.
I was pretty fucking nervous.
So as you were standing there getting ready and they're announcing you, what do you think your heart rate was at about?
Oh, probably at least 120.
Okay. And that's because you're going to fight, and that's normal and that's understandable. And so when you were later on in your career and you were going to fight, so you were fighting, we'll say Gil Melendez for the third time in a trilogy, and for a world title, what was your heart rate?
Yeah, probably I'd say probably about 100.
Yeah. Somewhere between 80 to 100.
Yeah, somewhere in there. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And why?
The experience.
Yeah, it's the experience and understanding the situation you're going to be in and saying, I've been there, done that. I'm not worried about this. What people don't understand is when you get into these bigger fights and you get into world title fights and they look at the referee's standing there like, they're all, in command, where a lot of them, trust me, their heart rate as they're standing there looking, they're not doing anything. Their heart rate's up around 120, 130, 140.
They're shitting themselves.
Yes.
Fucking right there.
They are absolutely fucking at that edge of, man, you're starting to panic because there's pressure. Pressure, affects everybody. And so that pressure of, I don't want to make a mistake. Just let this thing go for a while. And it's all this pressure that as the fight goes on, it can dwindle out and they'll become fine. But if things happen right away in that fight, they don't make good decisions because their heart rate is up and they tend to wait or not make a good decision based upon that high heart rate, because we don't make as good a decision once our heart rate gets to a certain point. And this is what happens with fighters. I would tell athletic commissions all the time, I said, look, you want to put your guy into this position. And I'm just telling you, look, I train this guy. He's a good guy. And he's not ready for this fight. I'll go and tell them that I'm the reason that he's not going to get the fight if you want. And I'm not going to get the fight. It's going to go to so-and-so. But so-and-so is ready for that fight. They've put in the time. They've been in this situation before. And your guy's heart rate's going to be at about 140, while this guy's heart rate's going to be at about 75. That's the guy that you want in there. And I can tell you the highest my heart rate would be, when I did like Conor McGregor against Eddie Alvarez in, Madison Square Garden. That was a bucket list for me as far as, Madison Square Garden. My heart rate was probably about 80. Okay. And because I was excited about being in Madison Square Garden looking around and stuff, but that's just because I'm not worried about making the mistake. I'm not worried about anything. And so I'm calm. So I'll make the better decision. And some of them don't get it. They don't understand that pressure, and that just because someone does one fight, doing another fight, it's completely different. And it's all self-induced pressure, but that pressure usually makes you either not make a decision or make a bad one.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I mean, it really just comes down to more time in the cage, and that's what I was talking about. I want to know, what do you do? Do you go just give them the earlier fights in the prelims?
Yes,
and then see how they performed in that. But I mean, if you're talking about a main card fight for him, the Paul Craig fight and Hill fight would have been the perfect fight to give him if you were insistent on having him on the main card.
Okay,
so you sure the fuck weren't going to give him the Damian Maia and Bilal Muhammad fight, maybe, but not Leon and Diaz, and not Moreno and Figueiredo, and definitely not Izzy and Vettori. So you're not giving them those top 4 fights, those top 3 fights.
So why are you putting him on a main card fight? Because look, let's be honest. Okay, out of all those guys that are sitting there doing the fights, 2 of them did championship fights. Those guys will make a little bit more money, but Al-Gaini, Herzog, and Herb Dean all make the same, no matter how many fights they did. If Herb did 4 fights that night and Jason did 2, they get the same pay. And the same with Al. It's like, you don't get more money. So as long as you're part of, it's all about being part of. You don't have to put the person in that position where now all of a sudden they're on the pay-per-view and people are watching and the pressure starts to build. Don't put your guy in that spot. There's reasons why you're bringing in those other guys. Yep. Yeah,
but the UFC doesn't have any say, right? They can't put their own. They can't say like, "Hey, we don't want him in there," or they do, but they don't have to listen to them.
No, the UFC will normally, in that situation, like they'll say, "Okay, he's going to do the first." They would have said something if he was doing, like you say, the champion, the like Leon Edwards, the Brandon Moreno versus Figueiredo, or the Israel. Yeah. They would have said something, but okay, he's going to do that. Just the first fight. Okay. When in reality, they're going, I would rather you put one of these guys.
Of course.
But
that's a shit situation to be in because, I mean, if they ever do go back or wherever, they're not going to use him anymore. Or he'll be part of it, but they'll be like, yeah, now let's keep him off the main card.
Yeah.
So
they will.
What do you think of the Bilal Muhammad and Damian Maia decision?
No, the decision was right as far as Bilal Muhammad won the fight. Damian Maia, I love, but getting a guy into a single leg up against the cage and then not being able to finish it.
Yeah,
there wasn't much more that he was able to do in the fight. He took the bigger shots overall. If you were looking at the striking, Bilal fought the exact fight he needed to fight to get a win against Damian Maia. Keep it from going to the ground. Use your wrestling to keep it on the feet. And as he gets more tired, start to up the pace a little bit in the stand-up and light him up a little bit more, and that's really what happened.
Yeah. Leon Edwards, Nate Diaz.
Oh, man, I love the way it finished, but I got to tell you, I was a little bit, I thought Leon would win. I said he's much faster, and it's just not a good fight for Nate. I said Leon's got to make big mistakes for Nate to win. That was my opinion on it. But I was a little bit, Leon needed to do more. To me, he hung back way too much at times when he had the ability to step on the gas and put more pressure on Nate and land more shots. He didn't do that. He was very cautious throughout the entire fight. And, he picked his spots, but this, in my opinion, this is the kind of fight, man, this is going to set you up for that next thing. Now, maybe he'll get that title shot off of this, but if he would have stopped Nate, there's no doubt he would have gotten that title shot. And you got to step on the gas at times and say, I'm going to finish this guy. And Nate's a hard guy to finish. I'm not saying, it would have been done, but you would have seen him at least trying to get that finish where it looked to me, it's like, I'm just going to sit here and piece him up and I'm going to get a judge's decision and I'll be happy with that. That's okay. You can do that, but it's not what people want to see. And what happened in the last minute of that is what can happen. You can win every one of those, rounds, which he won the 4 rounds going up to it, and he won 4 minutes of the 5th round. And then he got freaking smacked by a left hand that almost put him out. At first, when Nate hit him and he's pointing at him, I'm like, don't point at him. Go, go, go.
Oh, man.
It's like,
yeah.
But Nate could have won that fight right then. And so I always look, don't try to, carry the fight to the end so the judges can give you the win. Make the win. Make it happen.
Yeah, that's a little bit of what we were talking about with Amosov.
Yeah.
Like, Leon, there was no reason to take chances. He didn't need to because he was dominating every position of that fight, from the wrestling to the grappling to the striking. He was way faster than him. But the other thing is you don't want to keep those fighters in those moments, though. That's the problem. Like with Amosov, I was saying, you don't want to keep Douglas Lima around in that area.
Yeah.
But once you get him to the ground, there's less likeliness of him knocking you out or finishing you because he's on the ground. He just accepted the position. But on the feet, though, with him, with Nate, is not like, don't get me wrong, I've said, he doesn't pack a big punch, but he comes with you in punches and bunches.
And he
but
throws
what he
some
hit him
odd
with,
angles.
he hit him with the Stockton slap, and then he hit him with the straight left.
That's it.
And he was like, yo, he's fucking big pimping right at that moment. And that's really it sent Leon off on stilts a little bit, got wobbled. He just had to keep putting the pressure, but instead he was pointing. He kind of was waiting. I think he thought Leon maybe wasn't as hurt as he led on to be. I don't know. Nate just didn't seem like there was that sense of urgency, let me get him out of there. Yeah. He had moments. He got clinched. He had more moments. He got clinched. And it was like, it was close, though. It was close. I mean, he could have. I think if he had another 30, 40 seconds, he might have potentially got him out of there.
Might have.
But, I mean, overall, what we had talked about last week. Sorry, guys. What we had talked about last week, I know, is Leon. It was the speed. Yeah. But what I didn't get, though, was that Leon, take a page out of Masvidal's book. Take a page out of how guys have fought Nate's brothers, because that's how they fight the same. Go back and take a look at how GSP and Carlos Condit beat him. That's how you got to fight those guys.
But
and
why?
And he didn't do it.
Why, when you are hitting that front leg with a beautiful kick and it's hurting him, you can see it folding his leg over. Why are you not going back to that more often? Yeah. I mean, you were damaging that leg, and everyone knows Nate puts a lot of weight on that front foot. And so every time he takes that step, wow, hit that thing. Why were you not going back to doing those things since you were so much faster? And for the most part, Nate was missing a ton of shots. Everything was falling short. It just seemed to me the desire to finish him in the fight wasn't there. It was the desire to get a win in the fight.
Yeah.
And he did.
I mean, he did some things that were impressive. That that little leg sweep that he was doing.
That was beautiful.
That was nice.
Yeah.
Beautiful timing on it. I thought when he got on top, he did some good work on the top as well from the takedowns.
Landed some good elbows inside.
Yeah, what I don't understand is when Nate always leans to the same side. He doesn't lean to the outside. He always leans to the same side. On why people don't go to the body and the head more with the kick. They throw the combination, make him lean, and come up with the kick. There was a guy named Josh
Thompson that did that.
Yeah, but I'm trying not to talk about me because I know everyone's, I know everyone's already probably waiting for me to say shit. But I don't understand. He leans that way every single time. Yeah. That's his habit. It's a form of habit that he does, but people don't. I mean, Masvidal caught on to it. That's how he kicked him in the head and cut him. And so that's the thing. He leans that way a lot, and just throw the combination when he leans, throw the kick, because usually the hands are just covering the face or the head. And if he doesn't get him up fast enough, it could be lights out. If he does get him up fast enough, you think his hands are going to stop that fucking kick? No, and that's why I don't get why people don't go back and take a look at the fights that they've lost and see what their tendencies are sometimes, and then watch them and use those tendencies to beat them. So I don't know, but overall. Nate's kind of like, and I'm gonna say this about Masvidal too, but Nate, Masvidal, I would even say maybe Connor. There's a couple guys that are all stuck in a little bit of that tweener age. They're not big enough for 170, and they're too big for 155. It's a shit show to be in. Rogan was talking about that tonight. Like, we should have weight classes every 10 pounds. That they already exist, and I know I'm gonna keep beating a dead horse with a stick. I think we should only add that one though. 65 and 75 should be the only two. That's it. Done. I don't think we should add anything above 85. Rogan was talking about 85 to 205. That's a big 20-pound difference. I get it. There's just not enough talent to go around. It's already thin across both organizations, all three organizations. There's not a ton of talent in those weight classes. Yeah. And so why water them down even more? And if you try to add another weight class between 205 and in the heavyweight division, you guys are insane. If you go to 195, you do like 195 or 215. You guys are crazy. There's lack of heavyweights now, and so it's hard. Anyways, overall, Leon looked good. Was it enough to earn a title shot? I doubt it. I think he'll get one, but it'll probably be Colby first, and then he'll get the winner of Colby and Usman. I don't think they're going to give him one right away.
No,
he may have to fight
Colby's going to get that fight before Leon Edwards does.
Yeah.
Unless Colby does something in negotiations where he's done the whole thing with money before in the past, and so if he becomes difficult, here comes Leon.
I'm sorry, but if Leon didn't get the title shot, I want to see him fight Masvidal. But that's the fight.
How long have I been saying that's the fight I want to see?
Yeah,
you got a great backstory with it too.
Yep, the backstory is
off
there.
Off of that Till win, come on.
Yeah, I mean, because realistically, the sad part is and now if you have him fight Masvidal, you've got Stephen Thompson. If he beats Gilbert Burns, does Gilbert Burns or Stephen Thompson leapfrog Leon Edwards? Like, he shouldn't, but he just beat Gilbert Burns.
But he could.
He could, exactly. It makes it really I mean, they've got enough people in 170 to make this shit interesting.
Yeah.
But if you could have Leon fight Leon's going to fight, I think Stephen Thompson fights next week or the weekend after? He fights pretty soon.
It's 2 weeks.
Against Burns, I believe. Anyways, those guys, when they fight, you could have Stephen and Leon fight, or you could just have Leon fight and you have Stephen just wait around for the title shot. Leon Stephen's 37, I believe. So he's got to get a rush on it. All right, well, let's talk about the main event.
No, let's talk about the co-main event.
I missed it. Sorry.
Mr. Brandon Moreno. Man, he put on a performance.
He looked like a fucking stud. From the moment he walked to the cage, he looked like a stud.
I remember when kid went in the Ultimate Fighter. Remember when they did the Ultimate Fighter at 125 pounds? And they took all these guys that had championships in all these smaller organizations.
Oh, yeah. Jason Knight. Right? Wasn't he the one that won it?
No. Tim Elliott.
No. Tim Elliott.
Tim Elliott. And so whoever won it was going to get a fight against Demetrius.
Yep.
And so, but Tim Elliott was one, and they had Yori was Shabanov. I can't think of his name, but they had all these guys, and they had some really good ones. They had some really quality guys, and it was Sean Shelby at the time, and I think Joe Silva had ranked them from 1 to 16, and I believe it was Pantoja. How do I say it? Alexander Pantoja. He's still with the UFC. Pantoja. I think
he was lost last week.
I think he was number 1. I think Yori was number 2. It might have been opposite, but I think, as I recall, I think Brandon was right at the bottom. I'm not sure he was 16, but he was right at the very bottom. Mm-hmm. And so he got matched up against Pantoja, and he lost his first fight. But the one thing you could see, he was tough. And I said, and then they ended up, they actually let him go and then brought him back. And man, he has turned himself into just one hell of a fighter. He is fun to watch. Put on a hell of a performance. He had Figueiredo in trouble as far as, he was just the output he was having problems with, the positioning he was having problems with, just everything. He just put on a fantastic performance against a guy that really was a pretty dominant champion. I know he had the draw with Brandon, but Figueiredo put 2 times on Joe, put Joe to sleep on the last one and stuff. He's a stud. Brandon Moreno looked great. Congratulations on becoming champion, man.
I mean, he's beat Kai Kara France. He's beat Formiga. He's beat Brandon Royval. Then he had the draw, and then he just choked out Figueiredo. He had beat Perez all before all of that. I mean, he's had some tough fights. The kid's a savage, man.
He is.
And then also to basically be released and then come back and become champion.
Yep.
And the way he became champion. Remember, when he took the first fight for the draw, he took it on what, 10 days or 12 days notice or something like that. It was a real short notice fight.
Yeah, it was fast.
To fight Figueiredo. Because
Yep.
he had just
fought Brandon Royval.
Yeah, he just fought Brandon Royval, and then a couple 10 days later, I believe it was.
Was it 10 days?
9 days. Anyways, it was something like that. Yeah, December 12th to December 21st.
Oof.
Don't even bother me with the math, okay?
Did
So
you
go
say
right ahead.
December 12th to December 21st?
Oh, November 21st to December 12th. Yeah, so yeah, I was thinking like 10 days later.
Still, it's not much time. Yeah.
No, it wasn't much time. So
3
a month
weeks.
later. Okay.
3 weeks.
Yeah. Still comes in, has a draw with the champion, comes back, and then just has plenty of time to work on what he needs to work on. He's somebody, look, this is when you fight somebody, it's different than what you thought. So when you get an automatic chance like this to do the rematch, and you figure you're going to make those adjustments, he made every damn adjustment he needed to make.
Yeah.
Like you could tell, right when Figueiredo went for the guillotine, didn't get it, he jumped over, got to the top position. It was impressive, man. He did so many good things. When he lost the position, Figueiredo thought he was going to just walk away and like turn and face and fight him again. No. He ran up onto his back, and jumped, put his hooks in, got to the back, took him down. I was like, this is insane. This kid is not wasting one moment of this fight. He's taking every opportunity, every chance to get on top or to dominate the position. That's a sav, man. What a fucking little savage.
Yep.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff by him.
And it's good. It's good for the UFC. Let's be honest. The first, champion from Mexico. He's from Tijuana. Since you live in California, we all know what Tijuana is. A fantastic city.
TJ, yeah.
Exactly. But that's a great thing, and congratulations to him. He deserves it, and he's a good person.
Yeah, like when I was 18, I went to Tijuana.
So did everyone.
But let me ask you a question. I'm not trying to take anything away from them. Do either one of these guys, Figueiredo or Brandon Moreno, do they beat DJ?
Do they beat DJ?
Yeah.
The DJ of now, I would say.
Is that fair to say, though?
Yeah,
the
it's always
DJ
fair
of now.
to say.
Is that fair to say? Because the
you can
DJ
only
of
fight.
now,
You can only fight the DJ of now.
yeah, but the DJ of now, though, the reason why he lost, because he lost a different rule set.
Yeah,
That knee to the head
different
of the
rule
ground.
set,
That's not
different
happening in the
size,
UFC.
different rule set.
Oh, that's true. Different
size,
size.
everything.
Yeah, different size.
It's everything. But if you're
Does
gonna
that
look,
change that?
I don't even look. I don't even look at DJ. DJ's in a different organization. So
Yeah,
I look at Henry Cejudo. Does either one beat Henry Cejudo? No, I don't think so. If Henry came back and fought at 125, obviously he was the champion at 125 and 135. But if he came back at 125, Henry Cejudo beats either one.
Well, so then you would say that maybe DJ then would potentially beat him as well because DJ and Henry had such close fights.
Well, their one fight.
Well, one DJ won and the other one
Cejudo
Henry won.
Yeah.
Anyways, all right. I don't want to get into it too much. All right. So good fight by Brandon Moreno. Congratulations, my man. Dominant performance. Great transitions. Get to the back. Get the fit. Very nicely done, man. Very nicely done. Izzy and Marvin Vettori.
What'd you think?
Vettori fell into the Douglas Lima. He fell into that.
He fell into the
That's
Doug
what
Lima.
he did. He just, not laying on his back, but he got into a rhythm of nothing, of doing nothing. He was punch, shoot, hang out on the leg until I got elbowed on the head, then come up to the clinch. It was a routine. It was the same routine over and over that wasn't working. There was never an adjustment. You could tell his coaches in his corner were fucking pleading with him. I need more output. You need to knock him out. You need to finish him.
I really think when you're saying that, and you're absolutely right, but I really think in his head he thought he was winning. I think when he came back after the first round, and I thought you didn't win that one. It was close, but you didn't win that. And his coach, Rafael Cordero, tells him you didn't win that round. You could tell he got upset. Like, yes, I did. And then he came back after the second round, which he clearly didn't win. And, Hoffy's telling him again, hey, you need to do these things. You lost that round. And you could see again, he was like upset that his coach was telling him, because I honestly think he felt like I'm winning with what I'm doing when he wasn't.
There wasn't a second. There wasn't a second after the first round where he won anything.
Yeah.
There wasn't. I don't think there was one moment from rounds 2 to 5 that he won. Not one.
Yeah.
Even when he got the takedowns, they were like not fully solidified. Like one of them was for a little bit, but then Izzy popped right back up.
When he got his body, got into the half guard and he had his body towards the cage.
Mm-hmm.
It was where I thought he was going to be able to do his best work. And he was, he's working, but it's not
in the first round or in the first round or in the fourth.
No,
and Izzy like just bench pressed him off and flung him off and got on top.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I think you think you're winning because of that. That's a draw right there, dude. Yeah, you took him down and he flung you off. There's nothing that happened, and you're losing the stand up. You're just getting touched consistently throughout these rounds. But
yeah, I thought Izzy look when fighters come off of losses, they sometimes don't look the same.
Yeah,
he fucking looked good.
Yeah,
his move was on point. He was accurate. He was composed. Every time he lost a takedown, he was like, "Cool, I'll be down here for a second. Let me get my breath. I'll be up." Okay, and that's exactly what he did. He looked like a champion.
Yep.
Okay, he looked like a champion. That was very impressive. I mean, what he did tonight to Marvin Vettori was like, that's a lot. It says a lot about his character. It says a lot about who he is as a champion. It was very impressive.
Yeah.
And I mean, like I said, Whitaker obviously will be next. I mean, because Whitaker was offered this one, from what I recall. But then there was just not enough time, so then they gave it to Vettori. But Whitaker's got his hands full as well. This is why I kind of want to see maybe Izzy go back up to 205. But I want to see him spend time there. Maybe spend time keeping the weight on or putting the weight on properly and then staying there. I mean, Jan's not going to be there long. I mean, he's 36 or something like that now, right? Jan's 36, 37 years old, I believe. So I can't imagine him being there that long. It's a good opportunity for him to go up there and fight. Yeah, what is he? Oh, he's 38. Shit.
Damn.
38. Yeah, so I mean, he's got that Polish power.
Got Polish power.
He's got the Polish
power. But the one thing about, if you go and you watch Izzy and like Izzy's stand-up is really good. But he still does things at times. He squares himself off all the time. He becomes square to his opponent because he knows he's good and he knows that he can move and stuff. But one of these times, it's going to catch him. It's going to catch him when he's squaring off on someone.
Ask Anderson Silva.
Yeah.
That's what like in that he does all that little dipping of the head, hands down, head up against the fence,
squared off.
That shit. Shit works against people like fucking Stephan Bonner. That shit don't work against people that can pop. You do that shit with Whitaker, you do it with someone that can pop.
Well, that's what I'm talking about with Izzy. If he, Whitaker's got fast hands, and he's got power. And if if he pulls off some of the same stuff, and he's just taking a chance. I'm not saying that I think Whitaker is the favorite in the fight. He's not, but sometimes with some of the stuff that Izzy does, because he's so confident in his stand-up, he puts himself in positions where if a guy catches him in that position, he can get hurt. Yeah.
No, I would agree. Overall, though, I think the fight cards were very good. So all three fight cards were good. They had some fights that were good, some fights that weren't. I feel bad because I shouldn't say I feel bad. Look, Bellator, I expected more out of the two main fights, and I'm upset that it didn't deliver. But it is what it is, and we're on to the next one. So this is the story of the fight stuff, man. Yeah. I mean, we got a little bit of the Marvin Vettori fight with Izzy tonight. That was kind of like that a little bit.
Yeah.
It didn't live up to the potential that we thought it was going to live up to. The same thing with, like for me, up until the last moment, the Leon Edwards and Nate fight didn't live up to what I thought it was going to be. I was hoping for a little bit more. But, I mean, it got very excited in that fifth round.
Oh, the last minute was good.
That doesn't talk about the whole fight, but that got very excited in the last round. Look, I like I like Nate Diaz a lot.
Love Nate.
And I want to continue to see him fight. But who does he fight next, John?
It's a hard go. I don't know. Because
I honestly believe if Conor loses, he fights Conor. I think honestly, even if Conor wins, he should fight Conor.
What?
Yes. Because Conor is not going to fight Charles Oliveira. I'm sorry. He is not going to fight him.
Don't think so, huh?
No, I don't even know if Dana wants to give him the title because he fucking may not fight. And if he does fight, like, who the fuck is he going to fight then? Like, that's the thing. Like, I mean, who is he going to have him fight? I know there's guys that are in that bracket for him to fight, but it's like, you think Conor is like, yeah, those guys motivate me? Conor's been someone who's been a name chaser. He wants to fight the guys that motivate him, and that's what brings out the best performance in him. You know, and that's what he does. Like, I don't think he's going to want to fight Charles Oliveira. Just my personal opinion. You know, so I don't even know that if that's the case, Dana's like, I also probably don't want you to fight for my title because then what am I going to do with you after you win it? Or if you do win it? Or if you lose?
Does he win it?
And the other thing, I don't know. Charles looks like a fucking dog right now. He looks like a savage.
Now he's looking really good.
You know, and so on the feet, I think he's got a chance. I think he's got a chance of winning on the feet. But if that shit goes to the ground, that shit's over quick. Charles Oliveira, if he takes him down, that shit's over quick. He beats Conor quickly. On the ground, I don't know if Conor gets out of the first round with submissions if he hits the ground, which I think he'll get him down. I think Charles will get him down. But does Charles even have to get him down? That's the thing. He's been looking great on the feet.
Very solid,
You
very tight,
So-
very slick. I don't know. You say who's going to fight Nate, and there's so at what weight class is he going to be? You know, is he going to be 170? You know, if you're saying Conor, that's 155 right now.
No, they fought. Both their fights were at 170.
I know they were in the past, but where's Conor right now? He's at 155.
Yeah, not minor details.
I'm glad you think that's.
It's
a minor
true.
detail.
I'm just being honest. It's minor details. I mean, he puts the weight on pretty quickly from what I see. He's still young. It's not like he needs time to put the weight back on. And Nate's not a big 170 pounder, so let's not get that twisted either.
No.
Nate's, he's not physically strong. So if you give Conor a little bit of time for that trilogy fight, I give it, say, 6 months. Well, Nate hasn't fought in 2 fucking years. So,
Okay, let's be honest here. Nate's only got one win in the last 4 or 5 years. One.
yeah,
He beat Anthony
Whatever.
Pettis.
and I still pay for that. I'll still pay for his pay-per-view. Fucking, like I said,
Okay,
man, I
you
want to
know?
watching him fight.
Honest to God, you know who I would love to see fight Nate? And they're different weight classes, but I think it would be just fucking awesome. Max Holloway.
Yeah, they're not even like they're 2 weight classes. That's the problem.
Well, Max has gone up to 155 before. Nate's
yeah, but
fought
Nate ain't going
155
back.
for a lot of
He's
his
not
career.
going back down.
I don't
He's
blame
already
him.
made it
I
pretty-
don't blame him for not
He's
going
already
down
made
there.
it kind of clear he doesn't want to go back down to 55.
But that would be
No,
a fun fight.
it would be.
Both
Max
guys
is
are
faster.
awesome. Oh,
Max is faster.
Yep.
I think Max probably possesses a little more power, but I don't know with the weight. I'm only going based off of when I fought Nate, the power he possessed at 155.
Yeah.
So, but Max, he seems to crack one hell of a punch, that Hawaiian punch style. So, good shit. I mean, I don't know,
then
man.
again, I like to watch Max fight anybody. I love him.
Yeah, that's true as well. I think with Nate, I think it's got to be Conor next. I think if that would just make sense.
It would make sense.
Especially if Conor loses.
It really makes sense if Conor loses.
If
Conor,
he wins,
Conor loses.
Yeah, it kind of still makes sense though if Conor wins.
It doesn't.
Well, here's the thing,
Because
John,
he's
I wanna
at
see the trilogy.
155. Okay. And if
I don't give a shit what it's at. I want to see the damn fight, John. That's all I'm
Okay.
sticking to it.
Doesn't matter about what you want.
Look, UFC doesn't care if it's for a fucking title. They just fucking want to see a fight.
No, they care
That's
about
it.
money. I don't blame them.
Yeah, that's it. That's all. They want the money.
Which ones are going to make the bucks?
Anyways.
I don't know.
All right, man. Well, hey, we're gonna let's see, John, Dave. Let's get into whatever. Give us 1 or 2 headlines on the news, and we're gonna wrap this thing up. This thing's going on for 2.5 hours.
Damn it. What time is it?
Jeez, fucking 1 in the morning here.
too late.
12:40. It's
Holy
4 in the
Christ.
morning for you guys.
All right.
So news came out that the Mayweather-Logan Paul fight did at least $1 million.
Which will only tell you that, yes, there will be something else coming again then.
Well, we had heard that they had done 2-2 or 2-4.
They always put out
which is not true, obviously, wasn't true. So we apologize if we gave you that information. I think we said that we heard they broke 2, but no, they didn't break 2. So they did at least $1 million. Okay, they did $1 million, which is kind of a big deal in this day and age when it comes to pay-per-views. But whatever. We'll see what happens, and we'll see which one's going to fight again. I mean, Mayweather said there in the ring that he's like, yeah, it was fun, I enjoyed it, I had a great time, but this is my last fight. So, I mean, like he said, he made that logo. You guys, if Dave posts this picture here in the middle, that logo on his shorts is $30 million.
Woohoo!
Yep. Like he said, he did an interview saying, like, I made $30 million before I even stepped in that ring. That's because that right there was already made. Those shorts were. So he made $30 million before he even stepped in the ring. They're saying he made over $100 million for the fight.
I don't think he's going to make $100 million. I would depend on the pay-per-views, and if it was at $1 million, he ain't going to make $100 million. But he still make good money.
Yeah, regard even if you
a lot more money in one night than I'll make in my entire career.
Yeah, that's
and
very true.
Add your career on top of that too with me.
Yeah, and probably podcast Dave's and podcast. Dave's.
Combined.
Yeah, combined.
That's exactly it.
But I'm sure this isn't the last we're going to see of Logan, because Logan and Jake, I think, are both signed with the Showtime deal.
Logan, you're going to see Logan and Jake again. I think I saw that Jake was now calling out Nate Diaz. I'm like, can that dude call out anybody that's within 20 some pounds of what he weighs? Jesus Christ, man!
Why isn't he calling out Nick? Nick's at least closer in weight. Gosh, man. Anyways. There's 2 brothers, right? I wonder if he knows the difference between the 2 of them.
I don't know.
Poodle-haired kid. All right, give us another one there, Dave.
Last thing is Diego Sanchez basically hinting that he's gonna come back for a boxing match. He did a tweet basically talking about it's probably on here actually. Yeah, I built my name, I built my skill set, I built my legacy. I will not finish my career in the confidence I built in myself. Not a coach, not a team, but blessings from God. #boxing.
Well,
I hope not.
John.
I hope not. Let's just be honest.
Yeah, John and I hope not.
Diego has never been a boxer his entire career. I know he did used to train with De La Hoya a little bit and stuff like that, but he's not a boxer. He's an MMA fighter, and if he's thinking about going to like bare knuckle boxing, I don't want to see it. It's not your skill set. So I hope.
Yeah, I have no desire. And look, that doesn't mean I have anything against Diego Sanchez.
No, I love Diego.
I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of Diego Sanchez, but I don't want to continue to see retired fighters hold on to this long, and just start being a shadow of what they were. Yep. I don't have that desire to watch that. And that's it's hard to watch. It's hard to watch, people that you've seen come up with over the years, and you've fought on the same cards, or people you've fought them, and you've got a relationship, in terms of, communication and just whatever it is. I have no desire to see that, man. I hope he doesn't fight it. I hope he doesn't fight again. Just my personal opinion.
Same here.
I would not, honestly, I probably would not mind watching him fight one more time in the UFC as like a fairway.
I would have been
fight. I
would have been fine if him and Cowboy fought.
Yeah,
would have been great.
Yep.
And it's not it's not loser goes home. Both of you, this is the end.
Yeah.
Have a great fight.
I'd be okay. I'd be okay with that.
I'll pay money to even watch it, so you guys get something.
Yeah.
But.
Yep. That's right. Is that everything, Dave?
Yep.
All right, buddy. So go to prowrestlingtees.com/weighing in. Use the promo code and still. We've got a special limited edition shirt for you guys, our Independence Day shirt, which is only going to be up until Independence Day. It's a 4th of July Independence Day shirt for you guys. Comes in all different colors.
Ooh, yeah.
Check it out. It's at prowrestlingtees.com/weighing in. Use the promo code and still. Okay, and you guys will get a little bit of a hookup on that discount there, 20% off. John, what else you got?
Only thing I got to say is it's been a great week. I got to drive hundreds, if not thousands, of miles in the last couple of days. I got
thousands if it's over 12 hours.
I did get to spend time with you. That was good. And we got to do this podcast after watching some good fights. So it's been good. Last thing I got to say to everyone is.
Wait. Let's talk about that for a second. I want to make sure that everyone understands, okay? You and I are friends. Every time we travel, you bring your wife one time, and guess what? I don't see John the whole trip.
I got yelled at.
I'm really upset at you.
I got yelled at. I was getting yelled at. It's horrible. It's horrible that a small woman can cause me the problems. God.
We used to be like this, John.
Dude,
we used to be like this.
I'm leaving her home.
Oh, man. He's like, yeah, I'll leave her home next show. I started laughing. I was like, no. She travels with us all the time, but just not during the COVID time. So it's been like over a year where she hasn't traveled with us. And it's just been, I was like, this is how it is. This is how it is, John. Just leave me like that. I see how it is.
Yep, that was me. I'm a horrible friend. I apologize.
No, it's all right. I'll see you next show.
Okay, that's exactly what we're going to say. So to everyone out there, thanks for listening, and we will see you